Hey guys, welcome. It's Dan Boul from 65 Amps. I'm at my desk in North Hollywood, California. And today is September something. What is today? September the 5th? Is that right? I don't know. 5th. Today's the 5th. And I have a prototype for you. This is our prototype that runs on 6L6s. And this is the second amp that I've done that is high current, low voltage. So what you're seeing here is happy tubes. So I can get all the good traditional 6L6 clean sounds, but the fun part, am I looking at porn off camera? No, Fonzarelli. I would happily do that, but just not during my show. I'm playing my Elliott Telecaster. Just regular old telly, not a high output pickup or anything, but these 6L6s, when they're bathing in rich AC, will do just about anything you ask them. I don't have the foot switch working on the prototype yet, so we'll go down here. Now it sounds like 6L6s, doesn't it? This is a great question here. McSex Stooge 5. Or McSex Stooges. I don't know how you came up with that, but I love it. Can you run this head with a standard 65 cabinet? Yes, you can. That's what I'm going through right now, as a matter of fact. Because it's only about a 27, 28 watt amp. MC5 Sex Pistols and the Stooges. I gotcha. So it has 4 voices, just like the producer. The preamp on this is really similar to the producer. Power section is very different. So that's voice 1, voice 2. Good American rumble distortion. I'll put a Les Paul on. It kind of shows the dynamics a little better than a telly. But, so I've got my, my rough and ready Texas telly. Also, how'd it go? I gotta be careful what I play. I got busted. I'm gonna tell you guys that story in a second. Got that sort of sound. It wasn't the Internet Police. It was Warner Chappell Music, the publishing division of Warner Brothers Records. Because I played a Zeppelin song on one of the shows. And they reported me to YouTube. I got in trouble. Hey, what's up, Third Coast Guitar? So that's your good sort of, Texas Fender thing. Hey, Kid Gloves, what's up? Doug, I'll get to your question there in a second. That's a good one. I played the song for a second on the show because I was trying to figure out the lick. And I'm going to play it wrong now. So I can't play it now because Warner Chappell Music's going to come after me. So I'm going to play it wrong. How about that? Is that better? I love that. Come after me, lawyers. It's not the right lick. So anyway, I had to capitulate on that. I am overdriving the board. Hang on a second. Sounds great though in my headphones. Big brother. So we can go back down to the clean. I got the clean side up pretty high. Wow, lots of good questions here. Let me go on those. So Doug Guillaume asked me, what's the main difference between this and the producer? They overlap a little bit. I think the sound is just different, being 6L6s. I think the clean sounds significantly different. On this, it sounds a lot more vintage, a lot more American, just because it's 6L6s. So David Hayes says, so you like 6L6s now? I like them in this kind of configuration. As many of you guys know, I really don't like, in the traditional way 6L6s run, I don't like the distortion. As far as American tubes go like that, I'm usually more fond of 6V6s. Because they act sort of like a little EL34, you know. Let me see, channel 7. That's weird. I'm getting signal on channel 7 that's not there. Ah, there we go. Well, you know, I hear other people play 6L6s and they sound great. So if I can get in trouble with the lawyers. Hear that good 6L6 clean though there. What song is that? Come on, tell me. Who's the first in? Oh yeah, we know the artist. What's the song? Close. So there you go. Thank you. I'm still overdriving one of my channels and I can't see it. Lawyer controlled a major Boul. That's hilarious. Let me see if I can track down this distortion really quick. Hang on a second. I can make this. Is it bad out there? Are you guys seeing it bad? Preamps up too loud or something. This is ground control major sound. What I can't find it. We're just inviting the lawyers now. Well, I'm going to chalk it up to Ustream right now. We'll just have to sort of filter it. I'm sorry. So I hear it. And none of my channels are... Board's not showing that it's overdriving at all. Let me just cool the whole board down and I'll heat up the Ustream thing. Maybe it's Ustream. Let me gas Ustream here. Sing into the mic. No, I don't think you want to hear me sing. You want to hear me do Bowie? Here as I'm sitting in my tin can, far across the world, or far above the world, planet Earth is blue. I can't sing quietly, I can only yell. And there's nothing I can do. Guys are having trouble typing? I'm sorry. That's not good. I could take a non-65 question. What do you think about the yellow jacket adapter to change amp 2 from 6L6 to EL84s? Does it hurt the amp? It doesn't hurt the amp, but the problem is your output transformer is made for a different tube, so the impedance is never going to match. You got a customer in the shop watching you, and he thinks he's about doing this to a DeVille. Oh, try it. See if you like it. That amp's pretty limited. There's not much you can do. Maybe one of my preamps is too cranked up here. Man, I just don't have any juice going here at all. So anyway, let's talk about amps. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little distracted here trying to make this sound good. Sounds like it's pretty thinned out now. Should I heat up the Ustream signal a little more like this? Yeah, just so you guys know, this is my Telecaster made by Andy Elliott. It's pretty much a clone, only Andy goes to great lengths to make everything perfect. The wood on this thing is fantastic. And he makes his own pickups, which these are. Yeah, I hear that distortion. You guys hearing that too? Yeah, it's time for humbuckers, Dave. You're right. answer the phone. All right. Yeah, I just hear this little zzz on top. Let's see if it's over here just as bad. Whoops. Because all my channels aren't really doing it, unless it's one of my preamps making noise. Well, I'm on the dirty side of the amp, Eric. Hey, Eric, yeah, how are you? Did Brian get a hold of you, Eric? Check 1 2. Testing 1 2. Should I call? Yeah, Brian wanted to talk to you about that V, Schenker's V. I think. Wow, that stinks. I'm sorry, guys. Jeez. I'm really trying to figure out what's going on here, and I just don't see it. Let me see if I can get my microphone a little better here. Hang on a second. La 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 la. I want. Does that help at all? Does that sound any better? Check 1 2. Check. Testing 1 2. Is that any cleaner? Check 1 2. Check. Oh, that's the hum of the pickups. Yeah. How about that? Is that clean? Yeah, Telecaster. It's noisy. All right, let's do some humbuckers and see what happens. I got a P90 guitar here also. Prototype. Whoa. Hey, the G string on my Gibson went out. Can you believe that? Oh, once again, thank you, Eric Yar, for the pizza last week. You guys want to send some sushi over here? We are at 11439 Van Owen Street, North Hollywood. How about that? That's way too strong, isn't it? Crap. Hang on a second. Doesn't sound like 6L6s though, does it, Dave? You're a 6L6 guy. I mean, you're probably the most expertise 6L6 guy here. More than me. I honestly don't have that much experience with him. But if I go back down here, if I had my foot switch, it would be much more graceful. like a Les Paul, right? Ouch. Got that middle position twang. On the dirty side, it's a little more EL34, but it doesn't really sound. It doesn't have that honk of an EL34. It's a little more broad spectrum sound. Man, I got to figure out where that distortion is. It's driving me nuts. Let me mute one at a time here and see. Ah, that might be it. Hold on a second. Let me look here. Hang on a second. Ah, damn it. I'm in such cable hell here. Hold on. I know it's a joke. You guys feel free to laugh. Probably a Ustream thing. That channel. Turn the preamp off. I'm still getting distortion. Maybe it's a mic. I don't know. Okay, well, we'll live with it today. Seems... All right, let's go back all three mics. A little to the left. I'll have to work on that. I'm sorry, guys. Sounds like a Les Paul, right? I mean, I got this amp up on 5, so I can clean it up just by turning it down. As with all of our amps, 5 is full volume. It's just going to get dirtier past 5. Sounds like a Les Paul, right? I mean, it's doing what we want. These tubes are really happy. If I could play guitar, it'd be great. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about my lighting situation too, Eric. And kind of not good thoughts. My lighting situation is just really slapdash, and I haven't had the time to focus on it, pardon the pun. I need more fill lights, and I need more backlighting. Then I have this one other light I should turn on that would give me a little bit more wash behind me. And it won't turn the way I want it to because this sucks. Give me a little more stuff. Yeah. So you can go from that, over to, let me try to balance. I know I'm killing Ustream all of a sudden. Marco, I'll get to your question. I'm sorry, I've neglected it, but. Something's not right. My Ustream signal is Firewire coming out of my digital board. That's all it is. I'll sort it out though. So Marco has asked twice now, why don't you talk so much about the Royal Albert? I think it's your best amp. There's a couple reasons for that. One of which is it's louder than hell. And it doesn't have the master voltage on it because it's grid biased. Something just happened with this. It doesn't sound good at all. Hang on a second. Let's see here. So a lot of guys buy it and then they can't actually play it. We saw them sit in stores. So I sell them to artists still. And if you want a special order one, that's okay. But it's loud. And man, you just don't need loud amps anymore. I mean, 90% of our business is under 20 watts. Man, something's wrong. Doesn't sound good now. Now it's more distorted than it was before, isn't it? Well, the cabinet's not in this room. There might be a little phasing between it, but the cabinet's on the other side of the wall here. Just got really thin all of a sudden. Something's going on with my rig. We had such problems I had to barely get it together today. So McSex Stooges 5 says, you mean you're not in the business of making amps that make a Les Paul sound like a Strat? No, I like a Les Paul to sound like a Les Paul. Buy a Strat. The reason I was saying, hey, it sounds like a Les Paul is because a lot of amps don't have very much fidelity. So when you play a Les Paul, it just sounds like a humbucker. It doesn't sound like a Les Paul. A lot of people think a Les Paul sounds like a Paul Reed Smith, and they don't. Les Pauls have three really distinct sounds. That middle position sound. It's a very distinct, really nice sound that I really like. On most amps, you don't hear it. It doesn't come across because the amps are using poo-poo tubes and poo-poo transformers, and you don't get it. Yeah, I have to call tech support and see what's going on here. Let me try something here. A lot of slamming going on here. I'm sorry, guys. This is a joke today, isn't it? Love the LP middle sound. Yeah, there's a. Were you interested in a Royal Albert Marco AMF? David Hayes says something very important here. An amp should make the guitar plugged into it sound like the guitar that is plugged in, which is very much true and very often not the case. A lot of amps, doesn't matter what you plug into it, you can plug a kazoo into it and it sounds the same as a 59 Les Paul. Yeah, that distortion's driving me nuts. I can't enjoy myself. Maybe on the recording it won't be so bad. Andre Mack also brings up a good point. There's also quite a bit of variation from Paul to Paul and Strat to Strat. Some Strats just sound Stratier. Yes, but they should all sound like Strats. Even the worst ones should sound like a Strat, unless you're buying some really cheap poo-poo one. But even like, you know, Fender's little Road Warren series, they sound pretty good. Yeah, but I mean, Les Paul pickups have gotten hotter and hotter and hotter, and the old Les Pauls were not hot pickups. Now, hotter pickups are more forgiving, so a lot of guys like those. They cover up your clunkers. These pickups are around 7.2K, 7.5K, something like that. But anyway, you get the idea on the amp. It's 6L6 is running at a very low voltage. EMG 81s. Nah, I'm done with that crap. I gotta find that distortion. I can't stand it. Let me just mute one channel. I think it's on this channel. Let me solo this. And that mic is not even close to the speaker. Ah, crud. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to set up the mics or anything. I got one channel, I think the mic's just too close to the... Listen to that. That's the ceiling in my... Can you hear that? That's the ceiling in my office. So let me give you the specs on this amp really quick, because I know I've just wasted your time today, and I apologize for that. It's a pair of 6L6s running low voltage and high current. The guys at Mercury Magnetics helped me come up with the transformers and did their usual bang-up job. And we changed the power section quite a bit from the producer. The transformers are different, but you know, a lot of things are different. But it's 2 channels, each with their own independent bump, just like the producer is. So channel 1, you've got the cold sound, and then you've got the bump. And which is hard to hear through this distortion. It's in my rig today, which is really bumming me out. And then you go over here to channel 2. You got your just sort of crunch rhythm. And you hit the bump on this side, and you've got... Man, that's getting... Let me just mute that again. See, I'm not hearing... Really muted sound on that channel, is there? That's so hot. That's what's crazy. I mean, I got the preamp practically off. How's that? Is that pretty good? I got that one mic just as cold as I can get it. So you can see you can hit any of these 4 voices from any position. You don't have to cycle through them when I have the switching hooked up. And so you can go from channel 1 to 3 or 2 to 4 or 2 to 3 and blah 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 blah. I'm just begging the lawyers now, aren't I? I don't have a name yet. You guys want to help me name it? Let's see here. Hang on a second. La 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 la. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do this right. Why is this not letting me? All right. Let's see. Now I know I can. There was on the other broadcaster I could put up questions. Allow links. The reproducer and the bender. On your bump circuits, is there much of a volume jump when engaging? A little bit. Not much. It just goes full frequency, so you've got more information coming out. Oh, here we go. Oh, I have to give you the answers. Oh, that's not going to work. I don't really know. I haven't thought about it at all, and I have a little time to worry about it. You know, we're going to start offering it for sale October 1st. You can start pre-ordering. RJ Sanders, I agree with you. I haven't heard a 6L6 amp with mid-range notch I've liked until now. Yeah, that was my problem. You know, there's two things about 6L6 distortion that I normally don't like is in a Fender type circuit. Yeah, amp show, maybe. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do the amp show. It really wasn't worth it last year. We get some interviews, but it wasn't promoted at all, so no one showed up. That's another discussion. But so the top end, when you have 6L6 distortion, a little ratty and raspy sounding to me, and the mid range is gone. So it's not a Fender circuit at all. On this side, it's my standard British type thing, which is just you know, tone knob. Like a Fender tone circuit is not a mid-range circuit, really. You can add a lot of mid-range into it, but it's still really regulated compared to a British circuit. Not that it's better or worse, it's just different, you know. And on distortion, I tend to like more mid-range. So this is really our sound. It doesn't really sound Marshall-y to me. It's dirty, but it doesn't really sound Marshall-y. It's just our thing. And then the rhythm sounds great, I think. I'm going to make it a little crispier here. It's got that sort of... So it doesn't really sound like 6L6s to me. You was thinking who like what? Guitardom? Yeah, it is kind of who like. It's got that thing. Yeah. For the rhythm sound, it's great, which you don't expect that from a 6L6 amp. That's been my other problem is I'm mostly a distortion bass guy. Like when all the rock and roll I play, most of the time there's some distortion on it. And so when you've got a amp that doesn't do a lot of mid-range, it makes it tough in the mix, you know, which is I think why a lot of guys like Fenders, or like Marshalls over Fenders, is they just stick out more when you're playing rock and roll. If you're playing clean music or country rock, it's not always the best choice. But for the stuff that I do, just rock and roll and rock. Yeah, you know, we've talked about naming an amp Hollywood or LA before, but much to my disappointment, a lot of people don't like Hollywood. So we're in North Hollywood, which is the poor part. But most people who've never been here tend to say, oh, Hollywood and LA. They've never been here. They don't really know. Or they've come here on vacation. But that's a really nice sort of crunch rhythm sound, I think. You know, does that thing pretty well, I think. Just regular old crunchy. Rhythm sound. If I put a little, I don't have my pedal board plugged in, so I can't put anything on it. I'm just going straight in, but. That's a good sound. I like it. And then I love having this. The amp's on 5. I mean, that distortion doesn't sound like anything I've heard before. I mean, it's dirty and it kind of sounds like a tube amp, but the Executioner, you guys are funny. It doesn't sound like a Marshall. It doesn't sound like a Fender. It's just got a... I've been listening to Bowie this week, haven't you? Hey, man. And it doesn't sound boogie-ish to me. Boogie has a much more pronounced... Maybe it does out there. Boogie to me has a much more pronounced sort of nasally thing that this doesn't have. Hey, Tony Conley, how are you guys? Hope you guys read Tony's blog, Guitar Daily with Tony Conley. But yeah, I can get the good, if I take the bump off on this channel and turn it up to, let's just do 6.5 kind of thing. I can get that sort of... I can't shred, but I'm gonna try. I can get some metal type tones if I crank this up, like serious metal. I don't know any metal licks, you know, I like classical shit I can play. How's it go? I suck at metal. That's some pretty dirty shit right there. I mean, dirty stuff right there. I had the amp up on 8.5. Also, kid gloves, it depends on what speakers you're listening on. If you're listening on computer speakers, it sounds pretty nasally. You know, through studio monitors, hopefully it sounds a little better. But the transatlantic. No, have you noticed the vent on the transatlantic? What does that look like? I don't know. It reminds me of something. I'll have to think about it. I can't get back. Yeah, I don't know. What is it, Tony? Do you? It reminds me of something else I've seen. I can't think of it. Yeah, headphones might be better, kid gloves. Yeah, when that amp came out, I got no less than 200 emails from people going, dude, did you sell to Boogie? You got it, Andre Mack. Now, it's the same exact size. Like, you could take mine and go, it's the same thing. I can't repeat that, Tony, but amen. Why do you guys care that tubes are high current, low voltage? Should I ask that question? I'll make that. Oh, then let's do that. Let's see how. Let me test this. It's a new version of the broadcaster I have here, so let's see. Hang on a second. Let's see, do one more here. Hang on one second. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Can you guys see that poll? Did it show up? Oh, here it goes. Here come the answers. Oh, this is funny. This is good. Here it goes. I'll give you 30 more seconds and then I'll tell you the answer. So I'm on the highest setting right now with the guitar turned down. You hear a really cool sound. So the answers were tube life, sound quality, or design freedom. It is all of the above. Rock and Roll Willie got it. Here's the thing. Modern tubes are getting worse and worse. And one of you guys asked earlier, did I get my $200K investment yet? No, I had one guy who is threatening to put in a little bit of money, which would be great, but it's not everything I need. But he hasn't pulled the trigger. Victoire, says Rock and Roll Willie. Tube life is a biggie. Yeah, that's right, RJ Sanders. Modern tubes are already not real good in vintage amps. If you have a Blackface Deluxe that runs 440 volts, there's only one 6v6 on the market you can use. And that's the JJ. The other ones are just going to roast. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. The JJs take voltage for now. So it occurred to me that I'm not going to be able to make my normal amps probably in 10 years and find tubes. I already have a nightmare going through tubes as it is. So I decided, let's check out the inverse of how everyone builds tube amps. And most people build tube amps at high voltage, low current because they're cheaper to make that way. This is a more expensive way to do it, but it's actually cheaper for you because you don't have to buy a bunch of tubes. I bet you have a hard time. Yeah, David Hayes brings up a good point. Even the JJs are by far the best 6v6 on the market, but they're not that great. They're the only ones that can take voltage, though. But tubes love current and hate voltage. But it's much cheaper to make transformers that produce a lot of voltage than a lot of current. So everyone in the 60s, when it was a race to make louder and louder and louder amps, just up the voltage on their amps, because you can do that real easy. There's even a lot of circuit changes you can make that'll let more voltage go through your amp. Change the type of bridge rectifier you have, you get more voltage out of it. You can actually do a doubler circuit and take a little tiny transformer and get a ton of voltage out of it. However, now tubes can't take any voltage. The tubes back in the 60s were really good with voltage. Mullards and RCAs and tongue salts, Telefunkens, GEs, Sylvania, GECs, Genelecs. Those tubes can take voltage all day long. They're fine. Modern tubes can't. Their tube life is about 1/10 of what NOS tubes would have been. Does that sound right to you, David? I think on an old NOS tube, you could really abuse it for about 2,000 hours. Like a Mullard EL34 or a black plate RCA 6L6. About 2,000 hours of hard use, years of use. It was fine. Now I'm happy to get 100. 200 maybe if the amp's not being pushed real hard. So, it's an interesting thing. So you guys should care about this. If you plan on playing tube amps for more than a few years, it's going to impact you. I think, we're still going to be design modern amps around modern tubes. That's always going to exist. It's just going to get tougher and tougher. And right now it's pretty tough. There's a couple of amp builders on here who can tell you that. David Hayes, I'm sure. David says, I have had old tubes that sounded way better than any new tubes and probably had 3,000 hours on them. Yeah, I believe you. But I think it was safe to expect 1,500 to 2,000 hours out of your tubes before you had to replace them. Now you're looking at maybe 200. A good tube you're going to get 200 hours out of. So that's 25 gigs. My old Marshall that I have out here, my 71 Marshall, has the same tubes in it I put in the 80s. And it sounds great. I gigged with it for years. The tubes still read like 92%, 91%, something like that. So they probably read at 120% when they were new. NOS Mullards can still be found. You're going to pay dearly for them, though. You're going to pay $150 a tube right now. I'm talking power tubes most of the time, Rock the Verb. Preamp tubes, old preamp tubes will last forever. Depends on, how often you're playing. And if you're running a lot of pedals in the front, it's going to push your preamp tubes harder. But the old preamp tubes work great. You can get an old RCA or Mullard 12AX7 that's halfway down. It sounds killer. I still got it in my head. How's it go? This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade. Such a brilliant song. Yeah, someone else told me about that too. Soldano is involved with some guys making a solid state tube substitute. I've heard those at the NAMM show. They don't sound bad. They don't act like a tube, but poke salad Annie. Yeah, maybe I'll get to that, Dave. There's been a lot of guys do that. I've heard the company that was doing that on their own before they got Mike as their sort of front man came to me at NAMM, and I played them. And well, I think you can tell by where I went how much I liked them. Yeah, it's a solid state thing that plugs into a tube socket that's supposed to emulate a tube. Let me go back over to the American side here. We'll get a little more American type sound. So let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, these guys that come up with tube substitutes, they come to me at NAMM every year, and they're really, really proud of it. And I think if you've been playing line sixes and you graduated to a Hot Rod Deluxe or something, you might find it acceptable. If you're buying a high-end boutique amp, I don't think you're going to find it particularly pleasing. It's just all your level of analysis. It's sort of like, a blow-up doll. It's never quite the same as a real girl. That's what I heard, at least. I don't know. Oh, I got an itch in my ear. So yeah, you get the idea. Let me heat this side up a little bit, just for fun, a little bit. I forgot how Poke Salad Annie goes. What key is it in? Jerry Reed. Hey, Brett Lacasse, how you doing, man? Can you make a low volt, high current lunchbox, or are the transformers too big? Yeah, I can do it. I shy away from the term lunchbox because what that implies to me is cheap. Oh, what a good question, Tony. Yes. Would a source of good tubes stimulate the home stereo biz as well? Absolutely. I know firsthand that most hi-fi companies are eager to design around tubes, but there's no supply. Because when you start talking about Sony or JVC or Harman Kardon, you're talking about making millions of units. And there's no tube factory that can supply that now. So they know better. There's really a good business right now of guys already doing little tube-driven iPod docks. So you plug your iPod into this tube preamp, and it really makes your MP3 sound a lot better. Well, the Ventura Kin gloves is sort of that. The Ventura is not as low voltage as this, but it's that thing is 100 volts less than what we normally run 6v6s at in higher current. So it's kind of halfway there. Good question, Brett. There's only two options for 7591s, JJ's or NOS. The other manufacturers' ones don't sound very good, I think. And I'm really a JJ guy when it comes to power tubes, unfortunately. The JJ EL84 to me is by far the best sounding one. And it takes voltage really well compared to its competitors. Rock and Roll Willie just asked, what production EL84? We only use the JJs, and we have very low fallout from them. We buy them pre-screened, though, so that probably helps. But that's a really good rhythm sound, isn't it? The TADs are Chinese tubes, Rock the Verb, which are pretty inconsistent. They don't really sound. The JJs, I think, sound the best. That's what we designed around. 7591, though, I mean, it's one of those tubes. It's kind of bitchy. You finally get, but NOS ones are fantastic. If you can find any NOS ones, they all sound great. RCAs, Sylvanias, GEs, Tonksall. Yeah, but your Electro-Harmonix ones only lasted 4 gigs. Oh, thanks, David. Good to see you, buddy. Come back soon now. Y'all come back now, you hear? Say hi to your mom or Nim. I used to live in Georgia. I can say these things. Are you talking about this amp, Eric? How long has this one been running? An hour and a half. I just pushed the volume up to get the cleanest side into distortion. I can get it back down to super clean. We are getting some distortion out of Ustream today. In my headphones, it's crystal clear until I push the signal, and then something's distorting in my rig. There's that. My ceiling loves A flat. It's a lighting fixture right above me. Hi Brett, this is, you missed it, this is 6L6s running high current, low voltage, like our producer runs EL34s. Which amp is going to get you closest to a matchless C30? Do you need it to be that loud? The London or the London Pro will be the closest, but it's 18 watts. Yeah, then don't do it. Get the London Pro. Or a London. The blue line London or the red line London Pro. Has an EF86 side, has a 12X7 side. It's our mainstream go-to amp. And the guys at Matches don't like me because of it. Plus, a DC-30 weighs like 90 pounds. A Netcom asks a good question here. I like that. Yes, Rock the Verb. We did try to do a high-powered London, and I can't get the transformer to do the same thing. The Marquis is kind of that. It's louder than hell, though. I mean, our 18 watts is as loud as anyone's 30-watt amp because they're really efficient. So don't get stuck on wattage. Let's see. How come you started this low voltage, high current experiment with big bottle tubes? Because everybody wants the sound of EL34s. That's where I started, but they're just too loud. Like, who needs a 50-watt amp? No one needs a 50-watt amp anymore. I mean, they got this new thing now. It's called microphones. I mean, no one plays. Even the big stages, those guys don't play loud at all. Because I like the sound. You have a Dr. Z 18 watt now looking for more headroom. Ours is going to have more headroom than that. If you need headroom, though, an EL84 amp's just not it. I mean, even... Jesus Christ, the phone. Even an AC30 doesn't have a lot of headroom. It's just not a clean tube. It just doesn't do that. Please answer the phone. If you want EL84 sound with more headroom, get a Soho or a high-powered Soho. Actually, that's what you should. I mean, that amp's great. A little less vintage sounding than the London, but it'll do everything that the 30s will do. And it's very versatile. That's our most popular amp on tour, is the Soho. Good question here. Sorry, I'm noodling on the guitar. What's the difference between the London and the London Pro? Well, the London is our blue line amp. It has 2 discrete channels and a tremolo, and it doesn't have the master voltage. The London Pro is our red line amp, which has the same transformers, only they're machine wound instead of hand wound, so that saves a lot of money. But then on the London Pro, you can combine the 2 channels into a third higher gain sound. It's more of a stage amp. It has an effects loop, or no, it doesn't have a loop. Excuse me, you don't need it on that amp. I got the hiccups. I'm sorry. So you can boost the individual tubes to make them the drive just for that tube. So you can boost the EF86 or you can boost the 12X7 and get a neat third sound, and that's all on a foot switch. Prototype controls again for Rock and Roll Willie. Yes, I'm on channel 1, which has a volume, treble, and bass, and channel 2 is volume and tone. And each channel has a bump switch on it. You can't really see it because the panel's black, but so you've got 5 knobs, and then there's a master voltage on the whole thing, and it'll have an effects loop for those of you that like those. So that's the second voice on the clean channel. I'm playing generic licks now so that I don't get the lawyers on me again. For those of you that missed it, I got banged by Warner Chappell Music for playing a Zeppelin song. can't do it. Yeah, there's nothing buzzy about this amp at all. I'm sorry if it's not coming through clearly. It sounds great here, but I can hear distortion. It's just big and warm and fat in person. I'm going to try to actually get Pro Tools going again and make some better recordings. Let me go over here. So I'm not pushing Ustream at all. Let me heat it up a little bit. Is that buzzy? It's my headphones. It's on the London Pro, if the channels are set to similar loudness, which channel is cleaner or dirtier? Cleaner. Well, the EF86 side has a bump. So if you have the bump off, the EF86 is going to be cleaner. If you have the bump on, it's going to be dirtier. It kind of falls on either side of the 12X7. A lot of it depends on how you play. Like, I'm on almost the dirtiest side. I can play clean. Is that better? Well, I'm good. I wasted half the show with it sounding buzzy. I'm sorry. So that's a third voice. Here's the fourth voice, a pure raunch. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I have no idea why this is doing this. I apologize. The London Pro EF86 is kind of boxish. That's so pretty cool, huh? Oh, someone asked about the Neil Young thing. Let's do that. Even dirtier. Want to do it like raunch, dirty? 10 soldiers and Nixon's calling. Gotta get down. What's the other drop D one? We always do it on here. I can do the real Neil Young impression. I can't sing quietly, and in here I have to be quiet or it just blows your head off. I could be happy the rest of my days. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon doing Whip My Hair Back and Forth. That's freaking hilarious. That one's funny. Whip my hair back and forth. Whip my hair back and forth. Just whip my hair. Roll out of bed and put my swag on. Yeah. Well, I don't know the words. Then Springsteen comes out. Whip my hair back and forth. Whip my hair. I think it's hilarious. And he does the Bowie song I was just playing too. Only it's a Tim yeah. Tim Tebow, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's hilarious. But yeah, the Neil Young stuff is great. He does the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air too. Yeah, let me get the even cleaner here. With my hair back and forth. With my hair back and forth. With my hair. Yeah, it's funny. If you ever heard this original Whip My Hair Back and Forth, it's Will Smith's 12-year-old daughter, and the song is like, whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back. It's just this little kid rant, you know. He's doing it as Neil Young. Yeah, I got lawyers watching me now, man. I'm a bad dude. I'm a bad dude. Getting in all sorts of trouble. Whip my hair back and forth. Have you heard the one where they're doing The Doors? Only it's all children's books. You know, like Reading Rainbow and Goodnight Moon, and there's an Indian in the cupboard and all that stuff.
Call from Anastasio Carmi.
Well, Anastasio Carmi, it's a bad time to call.
Anastasio.
Wow, it's already 1:30. I didn't realize that. You get an idea. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, right, exactly. I'm so sorry the sound wasn't great today. I'm going to post this video anyway, and, you know. Yeah, I might have one mic placement really bad. How does a Reading Rainbow go? My kids love it. I can fly twice in the sky. I can fly twice as high. Up like a butterfly. It's a reading rainbow. Well, I got a rocket in my pocket and Horton, here's a who. Anyway. There's something obviously wrong with my rig, and I just didn't have time to address it today because I was trying to get everything else working. What's your best-selling amp line right now? The Producer and the Ventura. Usually our newest amps are the best-selling. The Soho still sells really strong. The Elvis and the Tupelo still really strong. Blue Raja, are the Venturas making it out to Texas yet? Yes. Guitar Resurrection in Austin, I know, has some on order. They sold all their stock. I don't know what's going on with my guy in Dallas. I don't really hear much out of him anymore. The Stone Pony's not doing that well. It's such a weird bird that I think a lot of people don't know about it. We're not really pushing it right now because the supply of 7591s is not real great. A lot of amps we make that we don't push because when the tube supply goes down, we can't make them. Rock and Roll Willie asks, master voltage on the Stone Pony? Why, yes, there is. Actually, all of our amps have that except for the Apollo bass amp and the Royal Albert. Bill Strange, I'm not a big 6L6 guy. I have a pair of those. I think they're good. Since I'm not building Fender circuits, my point of reference is different than most people's. On 6L6s, believe it or not, there's a lot of decent sounding ones out there. They just don't like voltage. If you're running at high voltage, like an old blackface Fender kind of thing, then you need the Svetlanas or JJs. Those are the only two that are going to take voltage. I don't have more than one dealer right now in Minnesota, Brett. Yeah, that's fine, Brett. Yeah, go for it. I'm open. I mean, our guys at American Band do pretty good, but... So, old school. One summer day, she went away. She's gone to stay. Well, I don't mind, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of her. fun playing this amp. I love it. I hate it that it's buzzy sounding out there, though. That really makes me sad. Because it sounds really freaking good here. Eric Yar says, were you going for more of a JTM feeler sound? No, not really. You know, I want to do an open house, and I'm thinking about doing a big, giant party the Friday night before the amp show. If I'm here, there's a chance I might not do the amp show for two reasons, one of which is I might be out of town for something that's very, very important. I love that rhythm sound. That's channel 1 with the bump on. Acquiring JJ now. Man, I want to make tubes, and I'm talking to people about doing it actually, but I'm not going to do it on old machineries. I'll get that buzz out next time, I swear. It's driving me nuts, too, because the amp's really clean right now. I go all the way down, cleanest, cleanest. Yeah, you know, Kickstarters are not for business. Kickstarters for artistic things. And the kind of money I need to raise to do tubes, I'm not going to do on a social funding thing. So I pull this one mic out. I've got a feeling deep inside, oh no. I wish I had my foot switch, because I could go right to the... It sounds better that other mic on, though, that's the thing. I've got a feeling. You got me believing. Or over here to Ron. Excuse me. EMI line 1. I don't think they're as insecure as Warner. So I told the guys at Warner Chappell, like, hey, I didn't sell the song. I didn't make any money off of it. But also that I had purchased it on vinyl, on cassette, on CD several times, and I've downloaded it several times, and I bought all the remastered stuff as well. So I paid for it. I didn't, I'm not selling anything. I didn't make any money butchering a Zeppelin lick. As a matter of fact, I might have sold you a couple records. So I went. Something like that. And so I disputed the claim. But, you know, they could just drown me in paperwork for fun because they're those kind of people. So I pulled the video off. But I disputed the claim. It was the one where I was playing the lick, you know, for nobody's fault but mine. A long time ago. They raised $40,000 for their new pedals on Kickstarter. So I'd like to see that. It's hard to raise 40 grand on these things, but yeah, that's. I don't know why you need $40,000 to launch a pedal line. You only need about $5,000, but I need to raise a ton of money. Let's see. That's cool. I'm interested. Wow. What was their goal? In the console FX platform. What does that mean? Is that like virtual pedals? Oh, I see all these other. I see what they're doing. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I'll have to look that over. Yeah, that's really fun. That's well done. That's very well done. Yeah, that's cool. Huh. That's cool. That's good. Yeah. I could raise money for other stuff that I'm doing. You know, I have a bunch of different projects going on. I need a couple $100,000 to move 65 up to the next level to where it's a little more on rails and I can focus on stuff like pedals and tubes and everything else. Right now, 65 is really just a labor of love. It's hand to mouth kind of thing. And I'm going to have to raise prices anyway, so. My wholesale costs have gone up dramatically in the past few years, and I haven't raised prices appropriately. And some amps I barely make any money at all. But let's see. Let me take this. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Foreigner, but I love the guitar sounds. I don't even play it right. Yeah, Corey he's selling all these amps. He orders through. I mean, he does pretty good. Man, Brett, the producer, would be your one. The producer is such a... Or this, either one, if you want that kind of texture. Is that the right chord? Yeah, I always loved Foreigner's guitar sounds. Just those songs are sort of pedestrian. I think that's the right chord. Pretty good for 6L6s, huh? I mean, that works. Yeah, who's going to be calling me now for playing that song? So yeah, the Prototype's nickname right now is El Pompadoro. Was Foreigner on Warner Brothers? Ah, I'm screwed. I'm sorry that it's so buzzy. I wish you could hear it, because here it sounds freaking fantastic. I mean, that's a really sweet, rich distortion sound. That's really dirty. And it's not messy at all. That's my only problem with a lot of really high gain amps, is they're just messy as hell when you get this much distortion. It's got that clunkety thing. And go down to lower distortion, it probably sounds better. And if I had my foot switch, I would go down to... Go out and get yourself some deep dark shades. Lenses so dark they don't even know your name. Yeah, did I play a YouTube on the? Maybe I did. I don't remember. I don't even care. It's silly. Wish you could hear how fat this is in person. It's just like boom. It's only 28 watts. And I've got the master voltage all the way up. We haven't even done that in the show. I mean, here's half voltage. Back up. Yeah, you're right, Brett. I just play everything wrong. Okay, you ready? Sweet Home something. How about that? Sweet Home and your mama. That sounds like one of those Shreds videos, doesn't it? Sweet Home Mama Jamma. Clapton Shreds. Oh, that's too easy. Come on. Get a lot of boom out of something. All right, hang on a second. Anyway, you get the idea, guys. It's 2 o'clock. I need to go to lunch. So that's the American Rhythm Sound, which I really dig. The more that I play this, thank you guys. Very nice of you to show up, and you're helping me work out my prototype here right now. I'm sitting here. The reason I get spacey and start playing is because I'm listening to it going. But yeah, it's kind of too dirty there. Let's go down to the cleaner side and cool the amp off a little bit. Do that, lay into it, Pete Townsend, right thing. That's clue number 1. If you want to play like Pete Townsend, you got to hit that guitar hard. Anyway, there you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, Brett. American Guitar Band's doing good for us. I'm happy with them. I'm sorry you don't work there anymore. I hope it was an acrimonious thing. That sounds pretty good to me. I hope that's coming through. Because here in the room, it sounds really nice. Is that working? The Townsend thing? I asked Bobby Dylan, I asked the Beatles, they call me the seeker. I've been searching low and high. I don't need to ask what I'm asking till the day I die. I can't sing it all, but I'm just shameless about doing it. I just look for any excuse to beat up a Les Paul. If you're going to play The Who, you got to beat up a Les Paul or beat up whatever. You probably hear my pick scratch on this louder than the amp. Let me turn my mic off. Hang on a sec. Yeah. Sounds pretty dull in the mix, doesn't it? I really got to work on that. It's so fun to beat a guitar up, isn't it? Actually, Brett, the bump kind of boosts the full frequency mid-range thing. 500 hertz is great. 700 is really good for cutting in a mix. I better stop. It's getting boring now. Carl Perkins for you right before we sign off. That's called Honey Don't by Carl Perkins. Made famous by George Harrison singing that in the Beatles, I think. He got more traction than Carl Perkins did. So how's that look? You say you will when you won't. Honey, don't. Right on. Guys, thanks for sharing my prototype with me. This has been really fun. And it's a prototype, so it still needs a little bit of polish. But we're getting there. We're getting there. And I feel like it's ready to sell in about a month. And we can make them. Oh, thanks, guys. Very nice. I'll work on the sound. I'm totally sorry that this did not sound as good as it should. I was having some board problems, and the guys down at PreSonus in Louisiana have been busy doing things related to Hurricane Isaac. And so we're really happy that everyone down there is happy and safe. No, they're not happy, but they're safe, and they made it through okay. So now that they seem to be back into business, I can get back to work. And so we just got it working like the minute I went on, and I didn't have a chance to tweak it at all or mess with the mic placement or check my preamps or anything. So I apologize. And the lights. Thanks, Eric. Does it look that bad right now? Does it really look bad? It could be a lot better. I need some Variacs for my lights. The problem is my lights are all wide open right now. So, and I just seeing spots and I can't even read because I just looked into one of my lights. A bit brash. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the white balance. Like if I move this around and get more white in the background, it seems to do better. So if I do more of a thing like, I just turned off the monitor somehow. I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go. So if I get a little more white, it seems to do better. Like, damn it. I'm pulling the cable or something. Anyway. We'll sort that out later. Yeah, it's better with a white background. I either got to paint my office white or focus on my whiteboard there. Let me see. See if I can move this around. See when there's more white in the background, it looks a little better, doesn't it? And I need a light above me, which I have and is not on right now because I didn't have any time to do anything. So it's really just front lighting with a little fill lighting, and that's about it. But I need the back lit up, and lots of work to do. No, Brett, the new is not. There's no EF86 in this amp. It's all 12AX7s feeding into. Green screen would be good. Like I'm skiing down a mountain while we do this, or I'm at the beach, whatever. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I can make a backdrop screen. I'd rather just paint my office. I don't care. I like the red office though. I'd like to make it look good. But the problem is I'm using a webcam, and in order to make it not look like, you know what? I'll show you. Let me stop recording right now. You guys stay on. I'm going to stop recording but keep broadcasting. Hold on one second. So anyway, for those of you watching the recording, today's September 5th, 2012. My name's Dan Boul. I'm president of 65 Amps, and this has been our prototype, which is yet to be named. And I will see you next week. I'm going to play this amp again next week. I'm going to make some tweaks and see what you guys think. I appreciate you participating in my prototype process, and I welcome all feedback, good and bad. Don't worry, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm a big boy. So please write me at Dan@65amps. And you can find me on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Google+. All sorts of things. So get a hold of me. I'm on LinkedIn, blah, 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 blah. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.